Namaste, everyone. Welcome to class. Hopefully you had a good night's sleep and are fresh and ready to go this morning. So finding your nice tall spine and a comfortable seat. So if you have a couple of blocks, maybe get them handy and put them right underneath your knees. Just whatever will make your seat more comfortable. It's really hard for us to even meditate for 1 minute if our seat is not comfortable and it's yelling at us the whole time. So roll your shoulders a little bit back and forth, and then relax your shoulders. Wiggle your head a little bit, side to side, front to back, and then let your head just balance gently on the top of the spine. Notice your sit bones, tailbone and pubic bone. And on top of that diamond, balance yourself. Let your ribs relax, your belly relax. And then taking your gaze down to the floor, you can either close your eyes here or just keep a soft gaze. And just imagine your spine rooting down into the earth as your body around it lifts up. Just imagine that push and pull, that rooting and rising. Just take a few comfortable breaths. Maybe notice where they are, but no need to change them. And then bringing the hands into the heart, Anjali Mudra. With gratitude, we salute all the great yoga masters, past, present. A special prayer of thanksgiving for Baba Hari Das. With joy, we recognize the excellent wisdom teachings of yoga, Ayurveda, and with vigor, we dedicate ourselves to self-transforming practice. So today, what do you need today for self-transformation? Usually the first thing that popped into your mind. And then let's form that into a positive sentence as if it had already happened. I am peaceful. I am calm. Whatever. I am kind to my neighbor. Just form it into a positive sentence and repeat it to yourself 3 times. And then thinking of someone or something to which to offer your practice this morning. We'll offer up the merit and the effort to someone or something. Just bring them into your mind before we go. And then very gently, lifting again, rooting again. Join me if you can in one solid Om. Exhaling the breath out and an inhale to chant. And on your next inhale, letting your eyes flutter open. And then just rest your hands on your legs for a moment. Let your spine get really tall. So I want us to look at our twist this morning and just looking at where we're twisting in the thoracic spine, where we have ribs, not in our low back, which is what will destabilize the low back and the SI joint and create a lot of pain there. And a lot of times people who actually have low back problems twist on purpose in their low back. They lay down and they flip their legs on top of each other and they flip their legs in the other way and take it all into those low back muscles and to the vertebra, which is only destabilizing the joints. So today we're really going to work on twisting in our thoracic spine. So that's where we have ribs. So put your hand at your low ribs, and they're really low. Like when you're sitting like this, they're almost sitting on top of your pelvic basket. So just put your hands at your low ribs for a moment. Tuck in those index fingers. Wrap your thumbs a little bit to the back. Good. And then lift your pelvic floor. Just feel it lift a little as you engage it. As you exhale, take the belly back to the spine. And as you inhale, twist a little bit over to the left side, just with your thoracic. Bring your head back toward me so you're sure that your head is not fooling you to think that you're deeper into a twist. So our mark is our sternum, okay? And then come back into the center. Good. We're going to go 2 more times over to the left side. Take a nice inhale. Yes, I want you to inhale. I want you to resist against the breath. You can take your gaze initially as far as you want, but then bring it back and look out toward me so that we're sure that it's your sternum that's twisting. Breathe, just breathe. And then come back. And then one more time. Twist. And come back. Good. Just keep your hands there for a little bit longer. Take an inhale to the right. Just the upper body. So your right shoulder can lead you and return. Inhale, right shoulder can lead. Take your gaze back toward me. Check your sternum and return. And one more time. Inhale and return. Okay, so we're going to check that again at the very end of class. We're just sort of seeing how we're going to develop that area. So we're going to start with a little side extension, just getting a little bit more space into the rib cage. So plant your left hand firmly on the floor, push into the floor, straight left arm, reach the right arm up. And it's our left elbow that's going to be the shaker and the mover here. So just bend your left elbow, keep your right hip solidly on the floor. So reaching out to the left side, but keeping your right hip solidly on the floor. Good. Push in to the left hand and arm on the floor. Reach. And then come up just a little bit, enough to straighten your arm for a moment. Don't go any further. Just enough to straighten the arm. So still a little bit of a tilt. And then we're going to bend again. Press into the right hip on the floor and bend a little bit, maybe a little bit more even to the left. And this time as you exhale, push the floor away and come all the way up. Good. Just rest both fingertips touching the floor. And then lean out. Right hand firm on the floor, straight right arm, push into the floor. So make sure your arm is far enough out that it's straight. Go ahead and bring up the left arm, flip the palm, take the inner upper arm close to your ear. Good. So just reach for a moment, plant your right hip firmly on the floor, and then bending the right elbow just enough that it's comfortable. Keep the left hip planted. I know it really wants to come up. So just keep your upper body exactly like it is as you start to straighten the arm. So you're still a little bit more tilted. Good. Just be there for a few more seconds. We're convincing our somatic nervous system that we can go a little bit deeper than we just went because it was safe. Okay, bend the elbow. Let's go again. Maybe you only go a centimeter, but that's still a centimeter. And push up. Good. And then just both fingertips on the floor. Let's take ourselves in some circles around the hips, not forgetting about the hips for a moment. And then come back in the other direction, just circling around. Okay, and because we're going to do another seated twist in a moment, I want us to just take, not to forget our legs, just bring your legs out in front for a moment. Go ahead and extend out the right leg, just nice and flexed. You can hold on beneath the knee. Press through the foot. Good. And then just bend it. Hold on to your foot with your left hand. Just take it back and forth. Bring it back as much as is comfortable. Just working it in the hip socket for a moment. Just get arm is just out of the way so you can see. It doesn't have to be, it can be anywhere. It can be high. Okay, and just put that foot back down. And then bring up the left leg. Just stretch through, flex the foot, press through the heel. Very, very active leg for a moment. Good. And then bend it and go ahead and grab your foot and then back and forth, back and forth. 2 more. Okay, and then put the foot down. Good. And now, if you've got your block still there, it's your legs other in front, whichever leg you didn't have. Okay, and then rest again right there for a moment. Okay. We're going to go again. This time we're going to just wiggle our shoulder because this shoulder is key for our twisting. So just making a big circle with the left shoulder, and let's circle it forward. And just right there for a moment, take it up and back and let it start your twist as you reach out to the left side. Take your gaze over your sternum. So just keep it over your sternum for a moment. Make sure your chin is parallel to the floor, not tucked in at all. So you have your cervical curve. And then bring your chin out over your right shoulder. Notice where your sternum is. Hopefully even a tiny bit further than it was the first time. And release. Good. And now the right shoulder. 4 big circles to the back. And then 4 big circles to the front. Try to smooth out the circle. If you get to a hitch, pick it up, go around it again. Good. Okay. And then take the right shoulder forward and up and back and reach all the way back with it. Good. So belly button is still facing front and forward. Nothing is happening in your low back. You can reach your right hand back and just touch into your sacrum and see, oh, that's nice and solid back there. Good. Chin is initially over your sternum. And then go ahead and bring your chin out over your left shoulder. Your left hand can hold on to the leg wherever you want it. And let's exhale and return. Good. So just feeling the quality of everything happening there for a moment. Okay. So let's come on over onto our knees and hands into our table pose. Our twist here is going to be threading the needle. And I want you to pay really close attention to your legs because yes, we are threading the needle with our arms, but we are using our legs to maintain the balance in our hips. So I'm going to do it from the side. This time I usually do it front and forward, but I'm going to try from the side. Okay. So let's go ahead and extend the right arm out parallel to the floor. Just start with the arm parallel to the floor. I'll start like this and then I'll move. Parallel to the floor, right arm. Press into the left hand and open the right arm. Just press in, open. And then take the arm under. And just when you get to neutral, pause. Plant the tops of your feet, or you can curl them under, but the feet are firm on the floor, the knees are firm on the floor. And then keep going until you rest your right shoulder and the right side of your head on the floor, okay? So just keep going, but press into your feet, press into your knees, press into your legs. And then take your left arm out for a moment, parallel to the floor. Palm is facing the floor, thumb is toward you. And then gently begin to lift the left arm up toward the ceiling. Press into the feet, press into the legs. Now, go ahead and bend the right elbow and place the right hand on your left shoulder and stabilize it. Keep reaching toward the ceiling, pressing into your feet and legs and knees. If they are completely even, your hips will be even. And then release the right hand to the shoulder, undo the elbow, straighten the arm, put it on the floor. Taking your left hand, put it on the floor in front of your face, and take the time to stack the elbow over the wrist, and then unwind. Come all the way back into an unwind, and replace, okay? Same thing on the other side. I just want you to make really sure that you see that your hips are the key here, the major shaker and mover. It's really the major stabilizer. All right, so let's start with our left hand and arm parallel to the floor. Palm is reaching to the floor. Our thumb is directed toward in front or toward us. And then press into the right arm and begin to lift the left arm up. Press into your feet and legs, keep them stable. Good. And now we're going to come down. And when you start to go through, just stay in that neutral spot for a moment. Check in to your feet and legs, and then continue to thread the needle until you're resting on your left shoulder, left side of the head. And then take your right arm parallel to the floor. Keep pressing into the feet. You're going to see that your left foot really has to work harder. Palm is facing the floor, thumb is facing you. That gives us that external rotation in the shoulder socket. And then slowly begin to raise the right arm. Press into the floor with your head and your shoulder and your arm. And then bending the left arm along the floor, hold on to your right shoulder. Stabilize it, support it with that little triangle you've created. Reach up to the ceiling. And then go ahead and release the elbow and the arm. Left arm is now again flat on the floor. Take the right hand and put it in front of your face. Take the time, stack the elbow on top of the wrist. Press into the arm, come up, redo, come all the way back up. Good. And then back into neutral into your table pose. Good. So finding this very stable table. We're going to work for just a moment into our cat pose, but we're going to move only on the exhale. So I want you to exhale and arch the spine toward the ceiling, press into the floor, and then inhale, come to neutral. Find your low back curve. Exhale, come into the other direction, belly toward the floor, arching, and inhale, find your neutral. Again, exhale, arch toward the ceiling. Inhale, neutral. Exhale, arch toward the floor. And inhale, neutral. One more time. Arching toward the ceiling. Press the hands. Inhale, neutral. Exhale, take the tailbone to the back of the head toward the tailbone. Round. And inhale into neutral. Good. And then let's curl the toes under and come up into our toe balance. We're going to do a twist here as well. So you might want to get a block because you're welcome to use your blocks as support. So we're coming up into a toe balance. Okay. So get yourself nice and balanced. And if you have a wall to put your back on, you're also welcome to do that for a moment if you'd like. And then see if you can release your blocks. And if not, just stay with the blocks and do it with no hands, because we're going to twist over to the side and come back. But you can always just keep your hand on the blocks and walk your blocks over to the side and come back. Okay, ready? Okay, take a nice inhale. And as you exhale, root down. And as you inhale, begin to twist. You can start with the shoulder out over to the left side. Your hips and your heels are hopefully making contact. And that's keeping your belly button front and center as you twist in the thoracic spine. And come back to neutral. Good. Breathe. And then we're going to go to the other side. So if you've got blocks, just head to that side. Keep your belly button front and center, taking your sternum, keeping your gaze over your sternum. Once you're there, just breathe. Breathe gently. And back to the center. So you might want to try it one time with no blocks, and you might even want to try it with your arms, okay? So you can come all the way over to the left side and then just rest your arms. And then on your next exhale, slowly unwind. So the challenge is just bringing the arms up to shoulder height and then twisting over to the right side. You can release the arms once you're there. And then back into neutral. Good. And then let's go ahead and stand up. Coming up nice and tall. Okay, we're going to do a couple of kinds of twists here. We're going to start first with our feet wide, Upavista Konasana, wide angle pose. Okay, great. So just wiggle at the hip joint, just so that we're sure how we're going to stabilize to come over for this. If you've got your block, you might just place it in the middle. So that's where you're going to head. Okay. Great. Now I'm going to tuck my index fingers into the top of my thighs. And as I hinge over at the hip, my index fingers are going to be somewhat hidden. And then I'm going to exhale back up. So if we reach back behind us and touch our lumbar spine in a moment, we're going to find we still have our lumbar curve because we move from the hips. If the block is too far and you lose your lumbar curve, use a chair, okay? So keep yourself nice and stable. Ready? Exhale, head it over. And then if you've got a block, if you can keep the curve and put your hand on the floor, that's also fine. A block, remember you have several sides to the block. And let's start with our left hand on the block. Look out at your feet and make sure your heels are behind your second and third toe. That your knees and your toes, your second and third toes are facing forward. Okay, good. And then go ahead and put your right arm along your spine. So your right hand can rest on your sacrum, bent elbow. Exhale, pull the belly button in, and as you inhale, twist to the right, and exhale, release. Inhale, twist to the right, exhale, release. Let's raise our toes. That keeps the legs a little more stable. Inhale, and exhale, release. Let's switch arms. We're going to build it slowly. Keep your toes lifted. That's your toe challenge, okay? Toes are lifted. Just bend the elbow and rest the hand, back of the hand or the front of the hand, whichever keeps your shoulder and elbow happiest. Good. Make sure you lift your toes, and here we're going to twist out to the left. Inhale, open the shoulder, look to the left. Exhale, return. Keep the hips exactly stable. Inhale and exhale. And inhale and exhale. Good. And then just release both hands to the block for a moment. Get nice and long. Bring your hands to the top of the thighs. Take a nice inhale and exhale up. Great. Okay. Let's heel toe for just a moment and take a twist from Tadasana. So nice and tall. Lift the pelvic floor, lift your belly, get nice and stable. And then let's bring our arms up to shoulder height. Let's bring them in for a moment. Just bring them in, thumbs facing your collarbones. Good. Go ahead and lift your toes, just keeping your legs engaged, belly button facing front and center. And we're going to slowly twist over to the left. If you have space, just open your left arm and take it all the way back. I don't have the space to do that. Keep your right elbow parallel to the floor. And exhale back. Good. Again, exhale over to the left. Keep your belly button front and stable. So it's just the upper body that's headed to the left. And exhale back. One more. To the left. Belly button front and stable. So it's all happening in your thoracic spine where you have ribs. And back to center. Okay? Good. I'm going to move out here even though I cut my head off for a moment just so you can see how it would look if I could fully do it. All right, so we're going to head over to the right side, and I'm going to open my right arm and come back to the center. Try to keep your belly button front. Open the right arm, and back to center. Okay, one more time. Open the right arm, and back to center. Good, excellent. And then let's come back and go back into our wide angle pose. Okay, ready? Wiggle your hips. Good. This time coming over, hinging at the hip for just a moment. Stabilizing wherever you'd like to stabilize. Let's start with the back of the hand on the sacrum or the front of the hand. Really doesn't. And then open your shoulder, lift the toes, open the shoulder and press into the block. And then bring your right arm out to parallel and then lift. Press into the block, really press into the block. Keep your hips stable. And then release the arms slowly and restabilize. Good. And then keeping your right hand firmly on the block, bring your left arm, bend it, put it on the sacrum. Back of the hand or the front of the hand, top of the hand on the sacrum, whichever you'd like. Lift the toes. You'll see how that stabilizes your legs and your hips. And then open the shoulder. Just open the shoulder, look out, pull in your belly, pull in your pelvic floor. Bring the left arm out parallel to the floor, palm facing down. So you're going to have that rotation. And then raising the arm as you press into the right arm on the block. So really pressing into the right arm. Lift the toes, keep the toes lifted. Good. And then release. Excellent. Okay. And then coming up just a little bit. We're going to take a little bit of a side bend over to the right side and up. Little bit of a side bend over to the left side and up. Don't go any past a diagonal line. Coming up. One more. Good. And then heel toe and find your Tadasana. So just finding your Tadasana, take a standing Shavasana for a moment. Just letting your eyes close, your pelvic floor relax, your belly relax, shoulders relax, jaw relax. What can you let go? Just let go a little. And then on your next inhale, let's open the eyes. And let's go back out for a moment, just working for a little bit on our thoracic spine. So bring your arms back behind you. Hold on to your elbows for a moment. Just hold on to the elbows. That helpfully bend your knees a tiny bit. Make sure your knees and your second toes are headed in the same direction. Mine are headed front and center. You can also bring your heels in and head your like goddess legs. So you decide which is most comfortable for your legs, okay? Just a little bit. And what I want you to do is just take your shoulder, open that left shoulder out to the left. This looks and feels probably pretty weird, but it helps isolate the movement. And come back. And to the right. Pull open the right shoulder. Just pull the right shoulder open. Good. Lift the pelvic floor. And back. Great. Straighten your legs for a moment. Release your arms, shake them out. And then heel, toe, heel. So we are going to go into goddess. So whatever that is there for you, okay? We're just going to open now the shoulder, coming down close to the opposite knee and back up. And now the left shoulder down close to the right knee and back up. Two more sets. And up. And up. One more set. Good. And straighten the legs. Good. Toe heel until you find your Tadasana. Just being still for a moment longer. Good. And then we're gonna head back down toward the floor. We're gonna do another twist as soon as we get into that position. I'm gonna come down with the back. So I'm gonna put my feet and my knees in the same direction, toes and knees, and I'm gonna come down into a squat. You can always be, excuse me, up on the ball of the foot or not. And you can always hold onto your blocks or not. But we're gonna add a twist here. So I just want us to stay for a moment into a C curve. So tuck your chin into your chest. Just let everything round a little bit. And then walk your hands back behind you. Press into the floor and get long in the spine before we do anything else. Get long in the spine. If you want, you're welcome to take a block and set it right here. I'll do that so you'll feel encouraged to use a block, okay? So you're sitting nice and tall. You're welcome to do it in the squat. Good. Okay, we're gonna open ourselves out to the right side initially, just open to the right. And I've got my left arm inside my left leg as a fulcrum to help me open more to the right side. And then I'm gonna come back into neutral. Hands are to the heart. And then I'm gonna open to the left side, just opening, twisting open to the left. I can press my right elbow into my right knee and they can resist one another, helping me open more on the left side. And then back into neutral. Good. One more time, open. And this time I'm just gonna see if I can internally rotate now. So I'm gonna bring my left arm up, right arm up. I'm gonna internally, so the thumbs are gonna dive to the front and I'm just gonna reach around and see if I have anything to hold on to for a twist. Keep your head as an extension of your spine. Don't let it just drop. Keep it extended. And then release. And you can just hold on to your shirt or hold on to nothing. Don't even worry about how far you can go. Just be amazed at how flexible our bodies are, period. Okay, let's open out to the left side. Thumbs up like you're gonna hitchhike. And then dive the thumbs forward and down and back and see if that internal rotation helps you open up any. So you're really opening up the left shoulder. Head is balanced on the spine. And then relax. Take your block out of the way if you had one. And then bring yourself down slowly to seated, okay? We're gonna do a couple more twists here, all right? So go ahead and extend out your right foot. Press into the right foot. And then our left leg, which we're gonna twist toward, unless you have a really big belly or you're pregnant, and you're welcome to twist always to the open side, right? But we're gonna twist toward this leg, but check and see if it's more comfortable here on the left side or here on the right side, which gives you more up and lift into your sit bones. So be right on top of your sit bones and it can cross over or be right here. Whichever one you do is perfect, okay? So taking your left arm behind you, no twisting yet. Just keep your sternum front and center. Flex the right foot And then just hold on gently. You're going to open the shoulder and gaze to the left. And exhale back. We're going to inhale, roll and open the shoulder, gaze to the left, and exhale back. Inhale, open the shoulder, roll it, gaze to the left, hold, keep the foot flexed, breathe. Balancing on the sit bones, that diamond below you. Keep looking out to the left. Then take your chin as far as you'd like over your left shoulder. And then arch the chin up a little as you take it over your right shoulder. Good. And then release the twist. Excellent. Okay, pressing out through the left foot, both feet are pressing through. And then bend the right knee. And it may be different on one side. You're welcome to be completely symmetrical, but some of us just aren't. So you're welcome to take a modification on the other side if you'd like. This is my good hip. I can do it crossed over and I can't on the other side. Go ahead and take your right arm back behind you. No twisting yet, because we're going to use that shoulder to open us and put us into the twist, okay? Exhale, ground down. Inhale, open, roll the shoulder and twist to the right. Exhale, return. Return all the way. Inhale, open, twist to the right. Exhale, return. Keep flexing the foot. Inhale, open, twist to the right. Stay, breathe. Use your exhale to keep that belly pulled in and breath into the chest. Go ahead and take your chin out over your right shoulder. And then arch it a little bit up toward the ceiling as you take it over your left shoulder. Good. One more breath, flex the foot. Both feet are very active. And then release the twist and come into neutral. Great. And then let's bend our knees and put our feet like they were at the beginning in our easy pose. Good. Both sit bones are firm on the floor. Exhale and ground down, and inhale and twist to the left. Keep your chin over your sternum. Take a few breaths there. And then on your next exhale, return. Okay, just comparing it to your first twist. Take a nice inhale. Exhale and root down before you rise and twist. Inhale, rising and twisting over to the right side. Breathe once you're there. And exhale, return. Okay, one more time to the left. Roll open and twist. Go ahead and take your chin over your left shoulder. Breathe. Arch your chin over your right shoulder. And your next exhale, return. One more time, over to the right. Breathe. Don't forget to breathe. Take your chin over your right shoulder as much as it's comfortable. Don't force it. And then arch the chin over the left shoulder. Good. And then release it. Excellent. And just see how you're feeling in your whole of your rib cage. And we're going to try that in a little bit with our breath capacity. Okay, see what we opened up there. So just one more side extension. Go ahead and press in to the left hand. Raise the right arm up. Same thing we did at the beginning, just bend the elbow, keep the right hip planted, and just see how you feel. Come up. Let the left arm rise up, flip the palm, and then bend the right elbow and reach over to the right. And coming up. Good. We're going to make our way to the floor. I don't want you to do a reclined twist today, okay? We'll talk about that in the last 15 minutes after class, and I'll explain to you exactly why and be glad to send you any videos about not twisting in the low back. But for those of you who have a habit, you're going to go to that habit immediately. So let's Let's re-educate ourselves in that degree. So I just want you to go down and we're going to do an inversion if you're inverting. If you're not inverting, which means if you have your menstrual cycle, if you have glaucoma, any eye pressure problems, uncontrolled high or low blood pressure, then you can just go to the wall, any wall, put your feet up a little bit as if you had your feet resting on an ottoman. And then you can just make your way slowly down and keep your bottom on the floor. For people who aren't inverting, this is still a little bit of a tiny inversion. At least it's helpful for our blood and our lymph to have this return. And for those of you who are inverting, you can grab a block or you can use your hands. So those of you who have your practice and you have either shoulder stand, headstand, Viparit Karani Mudra, feel free to take it. And those of you who don't and you have a block, put it underneath your sacrum. And you can stay right there, tuck your shoulders under into a supported bridge pose, which is an inversion, or you're welcome to take your legs up into a supported Viparit Karani Mudra. So you decide which is best for you, okay? Just take your time, get yourself settled. We're just going to spend like 2 minutes there. I'm going to come out and you stay in. I'm going to mind the time. Check in with your breath. See if you can smooth it out a little bit. Seconds or so. You're welcome to come out of it early, but I'm going to give you another so you've had a couple minutes. And as you start to come out, just ask yourself if you need anything in counter, right? Like if you need to do a counter pose. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Don't worry what anyone else is doing. Just ask your body, mind, complex if you need anything. Now coming out of your inversion, seeing if you need a counter pose. And if not, the best counter pose for everything is Shavasana. So lying in corpse pose on your back, but think of being a starfish, not relegated to your mat, as long as you've got warmth underneath you. Otherwise, pull those limbs in and keep them on the mat so you're not cold. Let your hands be below your heart, but think of being a starfish and just letting your body relax. Babaji says this is the hardest pose of all. We just don't want to let go of the controls for a moment. So letting go. Breathing nice and silently, slowly, gently. No control of the breath at all. Just breathing. Letting the universe breathe you. Sinking in. letting go. Slowly and gently, bringing your awareness into the breath again, letting it deepen just a little. Beginning to let your eyes roll in the sockets in one direction, then the other. Tongue roam the mouth. You can yawn. That'll usually crackle, pop your ears and let your ears start to open. Just bringing this line. Wiggle your nose. Swim your fingers, your toes. And then slowly you can decide to stretch out, shrink in, however you'd like to make your way over to one side, either side in embryo pose, all curled up there, safe and secure. And then take a moment or two in embryo pose just to think, huh, corpse pose. I can leave behind anything there that no longer serves me. Just let it die away. Embryo pose. Whole new possibility of beginnings. Just bring those thoughts into your mind. And then gently, using the hand of the upper arm, keep your chin tucked into your chest. Begin to press the floor away and spiral yourself up into a comfortable seat, sitting tall, sitting nice and tall. Just stack the head on top of the spine, the very last thing that you do. Look around you. We're going to go into some pranayama and then meditation. It won't be long. So just grab anything you might want for your so that you're not moving between your pranayama and your meditation. So if you need an extra pillow, a blanket, a block, or anything, just grab it now so you can be still. For our pranayama this morning, we're going to do one of the kriyas in isolation, one of the swasayam kriyas, kriyas of restraining the self. And as we do that kriya, we're going to work into the space that we just opened, right? So the kriya itself is a chest breath only. So we're going to exhale and keep the belly into the spine. We're not going to open the belly. We're going to spread our diaphragm by contracting it out to the side. It's called bucket handle breathing as the ribs begin to expand and the ribs are lifting, okay? We're going to do that in 5 sips. So we're going to sip the breath in 5 sips through the nose. And then we're going to pause at the top and exhale out the mouth. So we're going to divide our capacity up. Maybe a surprise to you since you just did some opening in that area, what you're capable of. Okay. So let's try one together. And then we'll do a few on our own. Exhaling the breath all the way out, belly to spine. Keep the belly in. Inhale, sipping. Exhale out the mouth. Inhale through the nose in 5 even sips. Wait till you exhale it all out or you won't get it. You won't have space to inhale. Again. At the bottom of the exhale, a little tug to your belly. Make sure you've exhaled it all out. And then as you inhale, divide it into those 5 even sips, sipping the breath in through the nose. Top of the inhale, a slight pause, and then let your mouth gently open slightly and exhale out the mouth. You can slow it down. Treating the breath as if it were a baby, a newborn baby, to be treated gently, kindly, lovingly. Sipping 5 breaths, pause, exhale mouth. On your next exhale, just letting the practice go. So just taking your time till you get all the way through your exhale and letting the practice go. Beginning our meditation. If you have an object of concentration that you use all the time, feel free to use that. Today, our meditation will be an awareness meditation. So, clearing a blue sky in your mind. And as a thought comes across, let it drift across like a cloud, not engaging, watching it go from one side to the other. Breathing gently, letting the universe breathe you, just watching the thoughts, watching the clouds go by. Not engaging, watching them go by. watching them go by. Bringing your meditation to a close. Just slowly taking in your surroundings, letting the eyes flutter open, engaging the senses, deepening the breath, bringing the hands into the heart, Anjali Mudra. Any merit we may have earned this morning, we lift it up to the welfare of all sentient beings. Now take a moment, remember your sankalpa, your intention, and repeat it to yourself 3 times. And then remembering the offering, to whom or to what you wanted to dedicate your practice this morning. Something that needs a little more effort, someone that needs a little more love and care. And letting those thoughts, pondering them for a moment, letting them drop from your mind down into your heart symbolically, from your heart out into the very palms of your hands, and then lift them up and let them go off into the universe, gently, slowly bringing your hands back into the heart. Hari Om Tat Sat. Namaste. Okay, I'm coming to you, and we'll be able to have a little bit of a discussion about twisting and breathing and hopefully a little meditating. Hopefully that was possible for you. Great, and let me fix it so you can speak and I can see you all. Remove this spotlight, get you on my screen. Hi, Charles, I saw you there. Nice to see you. Okay, let's see. Let me get where you can talk. Yes. Okay. So nice to see you. Welcome, everyone. Good morning. Nice to see you. So how did you feel after twisting? How does your whole upper body feel? How was your breath capacity? How was everything? Somebody's going to have to talk. Jean,
I want to talk.
Yes, Jean, go for it.
My lungs feel like they're bigger.
Well, they are.
Yeah,
They're
bigger.
not bigger. Your lungs follow your thoracic cavity. So as your thoracic cavity gets bigger and stronger, your lungs go there. The pleural sac attaches to both. And so when your thoracic cavity grows, your lungs grow with it. It has a greater capacity. So you can breathe in a lot more air. So just working in that area of the thoracic cavity is just wonderful for us that are trying to calm our mind, because the more that you can get in your body airwise and slower to fill up that space, then a very calm breath will lead to a calm mind. So, yeah. Anybody else feel a big difference in your capacity to twist from the beginning to the end?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I even feel it, and I'm pretty flexible in that area. And I still, once I start moving, I start feeling like so much more capacity and so much better, right? It just, my breath gets better, it gets longer. Yes. So how about the breath, that Kriya 8? Were you able to get, first of all, were your sips bigger than you thought they would be, or did you get to the end and you had another sip that you should have taken, but it wouldn't have been there in the past?
Yes. Yes, more sips could be taken, definitely.
Right, because you get that space a little bit bigger and then it starts to move and you're like, oh, I could have done 6 sips. Well, next time I'll take 5 longer sips. And every time it just kind of grows in capacity, right?
Yes.
Yeah. How was that for you, Antonia? Good, good. Yeah, it's a good chest breath. It's a really good way to sort of realize when you're working the thoracic cavity, the space that you're recreating for yourself.
I was able to take a much deeper or much longer amount of eyeballs than usual. They were able to be deeper each sip.
Yeah. So isn't that amazing for ourselves? And then it's so important that we exhale it all the way out every time, right? Because if we don't exhale it out fully, because we're creating that negative pressure. And so if we don't exhale it out fully, there's nowhere for the breath to go in because it's already got something in its way, which is old breath. So, we never exhale anything all the way out. We always keep about 35% of the air, that's just what our body does. But when you feel like the full exhale, then you've gotten that 65% out of there, right? So we really have to be careful and exhale fully, because the exhale is what commands our inhale, which is why when I'm working with people with anxiety or people with asthma or people who feel out of control about their breath, they go into sympathetic response pretty easily. I get them to do with pressure a belly breath. So I get them to just push the breath out, exhale out as far as they can, and then inhale into the hands. Just little. And exhale out. So they're just breathing right into the belly to actually stimulate the parasympathetic response. So just that low diaphragm that you breathe when you're sleeping, what the phrenic nerve and the vagal nerve have you doing at night. Even right now, you're not paying attention to your breath. It's breathing you. The universe is breathing you right now. So you're just doing that little light inhale, light exhale, just what you need. And that's our meditative breath, just what you need, no control. Yeah, anybody else about just want to know, and those of you who know about not twisting in your low back, I think there's not really anyone here who, oh no, Barbara, you may not have gotten my.
No.
So if you'll just,
Me neither.
if you can email me, Donna Sweetie, would you put my email in there? I'll send you a chiropractor talking about why not to twist in the low back. And
Okay.
it's super important that we don't do that. It's super, super important, right? The low back is made for bearing heavy weight. So when we were on all fours, and that was it pushed into the weight to give us to be able to push and push, but it has very little torsion. It has very little capacity to torque, right? So it's just Kamalesh at mountmadonna.org. It's also, you can also do ginger at mountmadonna.org if you forget it. They all go to the same place, thank goodness. What's that girl's name? What's her name?
Thank you.
Yeah. And so, Mina, if you would like that too, just email me and I'll be glad to send it your way. It's just a like 5-minute video.
I found Ginger, I found a big difference. As you mentioned, I was always twisting from my waist going this way. ever since I've been doing from the shoulder, the way you have been teaching it, huge difference on my arm, which I had difficulty. Now I can move it at the back. Just within 3 weeks, I'm able to do it.
All right, Mina,
So,
great.
very, very happy.
That's wonderful news. Wow, that's impressive. Yeah. It's just so important that we see that our shoulder can help us access that twist in the thoracic. And we see that the opening of our shoulder opens all of the clavicle and all of that space there. The upper part of our lungs gets massaged every time we move our shoulders, you know. Thanks, Antonia. Much love to you, sweetie. Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, I love all of a sudden realizing that my shoulders have a lot to do with my twisting capacity and have a lot to do with everything happening there. And keeping your low back relatively stable helps us to, I think, do that and create that. Yeah, yeah.
So Ginger, you would then strongly advise not to do the ones where we put both knees to one side. A lot of those, not to do those.
I would, yeah, that's what I would recommend until I've had a chance to teach you the recline twist properly. And there are some of the videos on the channel, on my YouTube channel, where you can go in and do recline twisting. So there are a lot of them where I do talk to that. It's just youtube.com/Ginger Hooven. And there are a lot of, you might just go into a few twisting videos because you have 5 days without me, right? So you might try some of those videos out that talk about twisting because I try to address that every time. But I knew that today I didn't have time to do those reclined as well as all of the seated and standing. I really wanted to focus on the standing ones today, learning to keep your hips stable and really open from that direction. Yeah. So it's really important that you keep a little bit of your low back lumbar curve, and doesn't have to be very much, just a very slight bit of it. You know, you can almost, I don't want to say flatten, but it'll feel almost flat. Like my lumbar curve is like this, but when I'm laying down, it's like that, right? It's not as huge, but I take the whole legs and the whole hips and everything over if I'm bending from there. And if I'm doing it from the shoulders, then I set my hips up and then I open. So there's 2 different ways, and I think you'll find that in any of the videos that talk about twisting, I hope.
Thank you.
What about the twisting in Supta Padangusthasana? Because that's kind of hard to isolate.
The twisting well, I don't twist in Supta Padangusthasana. That's recline big toe pose where it's just all it is. That pose is there's no twist. It's just.
Maybe I'm thinking of the one that's where you're laying on your back and your one leg's up and your other leg's extended, and then you. No, yeah, I don't know what the name of that is, but it's a twist. One side's okay, but the other side seems really.
Right. And let me just show you real quick. I'm going to put myself big again so you can see. Spotlight, spotlight. Okay, here you go. All right. And so also Barbara and Minal, this will talk a little bit to what you were saying. So if I'm going to do, I forgot I have to take it off if I'm going to lay down and just sit it beside me. Okay. So here I am. Here's Supta Padangusthasana. Here it is opening. There is no twist happening here. But if I decide to take it to the other side, what I want to be sure to do is lift my hips off the floor, shift my hips over, extend my leg out, and go. So that now I have my lumbar spine integrated.
Okay.
So that shift was super important. If I just drop, it pushes it all into my low back. And so when I'm doing Jatara Parivartanasana, which is the stomach revolving pose, which is our regular recline twist, when I'm doing that, I lift my hips, shift them over, go, and then drop my hips. And they again stay even. And my twist is now happening in my thoracic spine. But my shoulder is not on the floor and my legs are not even. And that's important because otherwise, if you're trying to you have to decide which girdle you want stable. So if I want my hip girdle stable, I'm going to go like this to do my twist. So I'm stable, my legs are stable, my hips are stable, I have my lumbar curve, and I'm going to open like that. This is my reclined twist. If I want my shoulders stable and my shoulders on the floor, I'm going to lift, shift, take the whole leg with me, and my top leg will be shorter by quite a bit than my bottom leg, but I have my lumbar integrity. But I have to do that shift, or I'm going to take it in my low back if I don't shift. Okay. Hopefully that answered a little bit, Charles and
Yes.
Barbara. Hopefully that gave you a little insight into
Yeah. there's no way-
recline twisting.
Yes, yeah, thank you.
Let me get rid of the spotlight so I can see you guys again. Okay. Yeah, so that little shift keeps our low back safe. It really does. So whether you're, anytime that you feel that you're going to take it into your low back and you're about to do some kind of a twist, just take your hips off and naturally shift them in the direction they want to go, which is opposite where your knees are going to go.
Yeah, good.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. So today, let's see, no, Thursday morning is sutra class. Tuesday morning is sutra class. Today is Thursday, and it's a Gita class. And it starts at 9:15 PST, Pacific time. And it's a wonderful class of the Bhagavad Gita, and you're welcome to join on Thursday. And Tuesdays are Yoga Sutra classes. Also, you're welcome to join. And for those of you who love doing this with me, I do have a paid workshop that's coming up in March, every Wednesday for 2 hours from 8 to 10 Pacific time. And you can go online and just going into the Mount Madonna, mountmadonnainstitute.org, and from there you can go to the calendar and find these things. But we also have a really wonderful yoga and psychology, the psychology of yoga, from a dear friend, compadre of mine. His baby is my little godchild. And he's amazing. And he's going to be talking about yoga and psychology. It's just a short thing. And we're going to have an interview, right, Donna, that's going to be on Facebook or somewhere. Nick and I are going to chat about yoga and psychology and God knows what else. We're going to be doing that, I think, the 10th of February, and we'll let you know when that's where you can see it or listen to it. It should be fun. Yeah. It's so nice hanging out with you, Jana. It's great to not see you, but I know you're there. I love you, miss you. And Donna, Wendy, Sandra, nice to have you always. Barnita, you're so welcome. Nancy, always wonderful to see you. Surya Prakash, Charles, great to see you. Jean, Michelle, yeah, Maggie, my love, I'm so glad you're here. And Manipa, really nice to see everyone. Much love. Mina and Barbara, I hope to see you all again really soon. Okay, so next Tuesday, and meanwhile, go to the YouTube channel and have some fun.
Thank you, Jean.
Thanks, darling.
So you're not doing any classes next week, Ginger, I guess. Did you say there was a week break where you're not doing these Zoom classes?
No, I just mean from now until Tuesday. There's no
Oh, I
class.
see.
Yeah.
Yes. That's right.
No,
Okay.
I'm every week I'm on. Good
Okay,
Lord,
all right.
good Lord willing. And if
Yeah,
some
thank
week
you.
I get sick, which I hopefully never will, there's a couple of people in this room that can help me. Yeah. Thanks, everyone. I really appreciate it. Okay. Much love.
Gracias.
Ciao, ciao.